confused they are. So many denominations, they don't know which book to follow. We have one Qibla. We have one Prophet. We fast together, we pray together, we go to Hajj together. This is in itself is a mercy from Allah. We do things together. So we need to stay together. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept our fasting. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept our prayers. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us al-Jannah inshallah. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to unite our hearts. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to remove this calamity from us. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bestow His mercy on us. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to keep you all healthy and to keep you safe inshallah. جزاكم الله خيرا وأقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. And I'm going to open the floor inshallah if you have any questions, whether related to this topic or not, I'll be more than happy to answer. And I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tawfiq.
Jazakallah khairan. Thank you so much, Brother Bashir. Thank you for that reminder, timely and succinct and straight to the point. And we thank you for staying behind to answer our questions. Brothers and sisters, if you have questions, please post them onto the group chat. But if you would rather also ask the question physically, let us know by you raising your hand. But before we go to question, we want to pay a debt that we all owe together. We had called Brother Abdullah Abolari to read the Quran for us before we started the lecture, and we couldn't get him, so we move on to the lecture. But I've gotten message that he was actually ready and willing to read the Quran for us, but that his phone was unmuted and he made effort. So we don't want him to feel so bad about that. So we are going to give Brother Abdullah Abolari the opportunity to read the Quran for us. In the meantime, we will be pulling our questions together. So Brother Abdullah Abolari, are you ready now? Okay, go ahead. Bismillah, Abdullah.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم والذين اتخذوا مسجدا ضرارا وكفرا بين المؤمنين وإرصادا لمن حارب الله ورسوله من قبل وليحلفن إن أردنا إلا الحسنى والله يشهد إنهم لكاذبون لا تقم فيه أبد لمسجد أسس على تقوى من أول يوم أحق أن تقوم فيه رجال يحبون أن يطهروا والله يحب المطهرين لا تقم فيه أبدا لمسجد أسس على تقوى من أول يوم أحق أن تقوم فيه رجال يحبون أن يطهروا والله يحب المطهرين أفمن أسس بنيانه على تقوى من الله ورضوان خير أم من أسس بنيانه على شفا جرف حار فانهار بها في النار جهنم والله لا يهدي القوم الظالمين لا يزال بنيانهم الذي بنوا ريبة في قلوبهم إلا أن تقطع قلوبهم والله عليم حكيم إن الله اشترى من المؤمنين أنفسهم وأموالهم بأن لهم الجنة يقاتلون في سبيل الله فيقتلون ويقتلون وعدا عليه حقا في التوراة والإنجيل والقرآن ومن أوفى بعهده من الله فاستبشروا ببيعكم الذي بايعتم به وذلك هو الفوز العظيم التائبون العابدون الحامدون السائحون الراكعون الساجدون الآمرون بالمعروف والناهون عن المنكر والحافظين لحدود الله وبشر المؤمنين ما كان للنبي والذين آمنوا أن يستغفروا للمشركين وما كان أولي قربى من بعد ما تبين لهم أنهم أصحاب الجحيم وما كان استغفار لأبيه إلا عن موعدة وعدها إياه فلما تبين له قال أعلم أن الله على كل شيء قدير ألم تعلم أن الله له ملك السماوات والأرض وما لكم من دون الله من ولي ولا نصير لقد تاب الله على النبي والمهاجرين والأنصار والذين اتبعوا في الساعة العسرة من بعد ما كاد يزيغ قلوب فريق منهم ثم يتولى فريق منهم وأنتم لا تعلمون صدق الله العظيم.
Takbir, Jazakallah khairan, Abdullah. I hope you are happy now, and there is nothing better than to be happy with the reading of the Quran. We are happy with your recitation. May Almighty Allah be pleased with you. May Almighty Allah reward you. Takbir. Thank you so much for that. And we will now go back to Brother Bashir and start posing some questions here and there. So the first thing we wanted to ask you is regarding the subject that you posted, that you discussed, the Laylatul Qadr. And is it better for us to pray for the changing of our Qadr on that night, or just to ask Allah for forgiveness? So given that there is a popular saying about the Ramadan being divided into three, the first part, second part, and third part, which some people also said may not really be founded in very sound hadith. So what should be the focus on Laylatul Qadr? You are muted now. So okay. Bismillah.
Okay. So as far as Laylatul Qadr, there is no specific thing to do in Laylatul Qadr. Laylatul Qadr, and this is in itself is a mercy from Allah, because if the Prophet ﷺ specified something to do, then it becomes obligatory on us. So it is important for us to understand each and every one of us has different abilities. And Laylatul Qadr, the ulama, they explain, as long as you dedicate time, and at least for the last, this is the minimum we can do, the last third of the night, to worship Allah, to pray. The Prophet ﷺ, there is authentic hadith that the Prophet ﷺ, as Aisha radiallahu anha described the qiyam of the Prophet ﷺ, and she said in the hadith sahih, for as far as the qiyam is concerned, the Prophet ﷺ never prayed more than 11 rak'ah, whether it's in Ramadan or outside of Ramadan. But then she described how these 11 rak'at that the Prophet ﷺ performed, how they are. And of course, not every one of us can do what the Prophet ﷺ used to do, that he used to stand and his feet get swollen. Okay? So long recitation. But that's specific to the Prophet ﷺ. But alhamdulillah, there is was'a, there is a flexibility in terms of Laylatul Qadr. As you can see, in most masajid, like the Masjid al-Haram, the Masjid al-Nabawi, they usually start the qiyam around 2 o'clock or so. And then before that, people can read the Quran, they can pray on their own, for example. they can pray and rest and make dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And it's all good as long as they dedicate that time for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So it's a combination of, based on your ability, you want to pray all night, it's all good, alhamdulillah. You want to pray a little bit and then read the Quran again and stand again and pray, it's all good, alhamdulillah. You want to pray and make dhikr and ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgiveness and do the dua that Aisha radiallahu anha, she mentioned, Allahumma innaka afu tuhibbul afwa fa'fu anna, that's all good as well. So there is, alhamdulillah, flexibility in all of these 10 days of these 10 nights of Ramadan on how you can capitalize on them and what you can do, inshallah, when you catch Laylatul Qadr. Wallahu a'lam.
But the question is, what should be your focus? Largely on account of people calling it Laylatul Qadr. Should the focus be that you want to pray for a change in your Qadr, or should it be a focus on asking for worldly things?
Okay, the very good question. Now I understand. Change of Qadr, you don't know what the Qadr is going to be. You don't know what is going to happen in the future. Allah is in charge of that. That's not our job to ask Allah to change things, because the mercy of Allah is wide and we don't know what is going to happen. Laylatul Qadr is not about Al-Qadr itself. Al-Qadr in Arabic means the value of something that has, it's described as Laylatul Qadr, Layla of value. That's what Al-Qadr means. Quddirat, something that you put a price on, something is a priceless. You say, for example, this treasure, Quddira bi kada wa kada. Quddira in Arabic, linguistically speaking, that means it has a very precious or high value. And that's why also you say Abdul Qadir. Al-Qadir is the one who's capable of doing anything and everything and has certain power. And they all came from, derived from the verb, the Arabic verb of qadara. Okay? Qadara means al-qadar, also derived from that as an adverb, but Laylatul Qadr in itself, it does not mean al-qadr is going to take place that. The al-qadr was written when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the first thing Allah created, and just to explain to you this qadr for the person who's asking this question, the first thing Allah created in this whole universe before the creation of the heavens and the earth is the pen. The first creation of Allah is the pen. And Allah ordered the pen to write everything that is going to happen from the beginning of time until the end of time. Things that we know and things that we don't know. So it's written thousands of years before the creation of the heavens and the earth. So he's gonna born, where he's gonna born, where he's gonna die, how much he's gonna have, how many children he's gonna have. Everything is written. So now, when it comes to Laylatul Qadr, to go back to that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made it 83 years or 1,000 months, because every rak'ah that you do is equivalent as if you worship Allah 83 years. So what do we need to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Laylatul Qadr? His mercy. His mercy is comprehensive. His mercy is wide. Things that we know and things that we don't know. And that's why the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, when you do Qiyam Laylatul Qadr, whether you perform Salah, and Salah is highly recommended because the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to make Salah in Qiyam, because Salah, why Salah is important, Salah has everything, has the dua, has the ruku', has the sujood, has the fasting, because when you are in Salah, you're not talking to anybody, you're talking to Allah Azza wa Jalla. So the fasting is not limited to the food, but also when you don't talk to anybody, you're dedicating your time to Allah Azza wa Jalla, you are in Salah. So Salah is a very comprehensive thing in which we make dua in our sujood, we make dua in our ruku', we make dua even in Fatiha. And then we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgiveness, and we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allahumma innaka afu tuhibbul afwa fa'fu anna. But as far as the qadar is concerned, inshallah, it will be my pleasure to have another lecture in which we're going to go through a hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam about things that you do and you don't even know that bad things was written to happen to you, and Allah removes it and you're not even aware of it. And we're going to go into a lot of details about that. Things that you're not even aware of. An accident, God forbid, that is going to happen. But Allah removes it. It was written, but Allah removes it because of other things that you did. And then we're going to talk about that, inshallah, in more detail. And that's part of doing good deeds. And how in the hasanat yudhibna sayyi'at. And sayyi'at are not only the sins, but also the calamities, the ulama, they explained. A sayyi'at is anything that it's bad. Whether it's a sin that we do, or whether something that it's written that is going to happen, but you did something, and Allah Azza wa Jal, يَمْحُ اللَّهُ مَا يَشَاءُ. Allah Azza wa Jal said in the Quran. Allah erase whatever He wants. And part of that, we're going to talk about adkar al-sabah. Adkar al-sabah that we do every day. Through them, there is an authentic hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam in which the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentioned there is a dhikr, and inshallah I will be more than happy to share it with you, that if you recite the dhikr every morning, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will protect you from any calamity, from any harm. And this is very important. I hope I answered the question, but if it's not clear, I'd be more than happy to elaborate a little bit.
Yeah, I think it's clear to me now, and I hope it will be clear to the questioner. The next question that I have here is, I think somebody noted you saying something, and they just wanted to know whether what you did was okay to do or not. Is when you are making dua, is it okay to also put inshallah as part of the dua?
No. And the reason for that, there is a hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. When you are asking Allah, you need to be certain that Allah, inshallah, will give you what you want. You need to be certain. You don't say in the dua, for example, رَبَّنَا آتِنَا فِي الدُّنْيَا حَسَنَةً وَفِي الْآخِرَةِ حَسَنَةً وَقِنَا عَذَابَ النَّارِ إِنْ شَاءَ اللَّهِ. And the best du'as are the du'as in the Quran. Because as if you're telling Allah, if you want, you can give it to us, and if you don't give it to us. And that's part of the manners of dealing with Allah Azza wa Jal. But with us, we say, inshallah, I will be going to the masjid, inshallah. Because only with the will of Allah, I will make it to the masjid. If Allah does not want, something will happen. I will be going to Hajj next year, inshallah. You have to add inshallah. وَلَا تَقُولَنَّ لِشَيْءٍ إِنِّي فَاعِلٌ ذَلِكَ غَدًا إِلَّا أَنْ يَشَاءَ اللَّهُ. You cannot say something that I'm going to do without saying inshallah, because I have no control of everything. But Allah has control of everything and anything. So when the Prophet ﷺ used to make dua, never used to say inshallah. And in fact, there is a hadith in which the Prophet ﷺ prohibit us from saying inshallah. And the same thing, when the Anbiya, when prophets made dua that Allah mentioned in the Quran, none of them made inshallah with the dua. Ibrahim alayhi salam, when he asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless him with the land of Mecca, he did not say inshallah. He asked Allah with confirmation, knowing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if it's good for him, He will give it to him. And if it's not good for him, it might not come because it's not good for us. And we have to put the trust in Allah Azza wa Jalla. So I hope I answered. And so is Nuh alayhi salam, and the dua of Nuh, and the dua of Yunus. La ilaha illa anta subhanak inni kuntu min al-zalimin. And the dua of Ayyub when he said, Rabbi massani ad-darru wa anta arhamur rahimin. And the dua of Musa alayhi salam, and the dua of Lot alayhi salam, and so on and so forth. So when you ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah is capable of anything and everything. And ask Allah with strong confirmation, strong belief that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give you what you are asking for if it's good for you. There are three conditions. He will give it to you if it's good for you, but you have to be patient. He will not give it to you if it's not good for you, but he will give you something better. Or he will not give you anything, but he will leave it for you in the hereafter. So when you stand in front of Allah Azza wa Jalla, this is authentic hadith of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. When you stand in front of Allah Azza wa Jalla and you have your book, and your book is presented to you and they tell you you have these deeds, and you say, don't recall doing all these deeds. And Allah will say, you asked for this and it was not good for you, and I saved it for you for the hereafter, and I'm giving you good deeds instead. And the Prophet ﷺ described the person will be full of joy, and he will say, oh Allah, I wish you did not accept any of my prayers and you left, or if you leave all of the dua for me to be rewarded in the hereafter. So these three things can happen. You may ask Allah and he may give it to you. You may ask Allah, he may not give it to you, but he will give you something better. Or you may ask Allah Azza wa Jalla and he may not give it to you in this life, but he will give it to you in the hereafter, inshallah, as good deeds.
Inshallah, thank you very much. One question that comes from your answer now reminds me of a debate two ladies were having on how specific can you get when it comes to making dua. So one of them, the two of them were looking forward to getting married, and they were praying for a good spouse. And one of them was praying and mentioning the name of the person she had in mind, being specific. And the other sister was correcting her and saying, no, don't be specific when it comes to that, because you never know whether that is what is good for you. Just pray that Allah will give you a good husband. So which one of them is right?
The latter is correct, because وَعَسَىٰ أَن تَكْرَهُوا شَيْئًا وَهُوَ خَيْرٌ لَكُمْ وَعَسَىٰ أَن تُحِبُّوا شَيْئًا وَهُوَ شَرٌّ لَكُمْ وَاللَّهُ يَعْلَمُ وَأَنْتُمْ لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. And that's why Salat al-Istikhara is all about putting your trust in Allah. When you do Salat al-Istikhara, you might think that this man is the right man for you, or this woman is the right wife for you, but Allah knows best. And that's why you make Salat al-Istikhara, you pray 2 rak'ah, and you ask Allah Azza wa Jalla, Allah guide me to do the right thing. If this thing that I'm thinking about doing is good for me, then make it easy and make it happen. But if it's not good for me, oh Allah, give me what's good for me. So if somebody is looking for marriage, for example, needs to ask Allah, oh Allah, give me a pious spouse. Oh Allah, choose for me that I cannot choose for myself. Oh Allah, you know the future and I don't. Because people can go with their emotions, they love somebody and they want them very badly, but that person may be good, may not be good for them. And that's why when you put your trust in Allah, and this is tawakkul ala Allah. وَمَنْ يَتَوَكَّلْ عَلَى اللَّهِ فَهُوَ حَسْبُهُ وَكَفَى بِاللَّهِ وَكِيلًا. You put your trust in Allah Azza wa Jal, and you need to be certain that Allah is the best planner for you. Because things may look so good from the outside, but you don't know what is going to happen. But if you put your trust in Allah, then Allah will choose the best for you. And you don't know where that person is.
Thank you very much. I have a surprise for you as well. I know that because of COVID, a lot of people have been staying indoors, and folks who are even neighbors are unable to even see themselves. So I have one of your neighbors here that wants to say salam to you.
It's a pleasure.
Assalamu alaikum, Bashir.
Oh, wa alaikum salam. How are you, my brother?
I'm doing good, inshallah.
MashaAllah, good to see you. Good to see you.
I thought Brother Sabur, that you should allow me to express my, heartfelt,
It is a pleasure to see you, my brother.
Brother, just for the brothers and sisters, Rabbi Bashir, mashallah, anchors the program in Masjid Sabirin every Sunday. And we don't miss those programs, mashallah. We go through different topics and we enjoy ourselves. Also, we have nice refreshment as well. And we've not had this since the COVID, so I really missed that. Just wanted to, say salam to you, and I hope that you and your family are keeping safe, inshallah. And we hope to begin very soon. Jazakumullah khairan for this.
Jazakallah khair. But we continue with our Sunday lecture using Zoom.
Zoom, okay.
Inshallah, Brother Mubarak, get the link, or I can send you the link, inshallah, from Brother Mubarak.
All right, okay.
And, it's 5:45.
Okay.
On Sunday, immediately after Fajr, 5:45. But if the Eid is on Sunday, then we're going to skip this Sunday and we resume, inshallah, the following Sunday. But it's good to see you, my brother.
Thank you so much, Bashir, inshallah. Jazakallah khair.
It's a pleasure.
Talking about Eid, can you use the opportunity to quickly explain to us that we are now going to end up praying Eid at home? What are the things that we need to take care of, and what should we be doing specifically? I mean, it used to be that we will go out and dress up, put perfume, and do the takbir on our way to the masjid. Do we stay at home and just be doing the takbir, waiting for the time we fixed to pray? What time should we even fix to pray the Eid prayer and stuff like that? Since it used to be that we will go quickly in order to come back to do something else, but we are not going anywhere. So what's your advice?
Okay, so alhamdulillah, this is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us so much flexibility in Islam. So the Eid prayer is totally permissible to pray the Eid at home under these circumstances. And khutbah is not required. It's not like the Jumu'ah. And this is very important aspect that I need to cover. What is the difference between Jumu'ah and Eid? Jumu'ah, the khutbah is part of the salah. And that's why the Prophet ﷺ insisted on people coming early to attend the khutbah. And that's why the dhuhr in the day of Jumu'ah is shortened to 2 rak'ah, because the khutbah is part of the salah. And that's why the khutbah has certain criteria and requirement that people cannot talk during the khutbah. There is no salam. There is no kalam. Anybody who talks while the imam is delivering khutbah, his salah is void. His jumu'ah is void. And this is according to the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and Abi Hurairah radiyallahu anhu. And the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam قال إذا قلت لصاحبك أنصت والإمام يخطب يوم الجمعة فقد لغوت. وفي حديث آخر ومن لغى فلا جمعة له. So the whole idea that the Jumu'ah nowadays, we pray the Jumu'ah at home. Okay? So for those people who are capable of making khutbah during the Jumu'ah, it's good to gather your family and prepare a khutbah, even 5 minutes, even 10 minutes. If you deliver the khutbah, have one of your sons make adhan and prepare a little speech, even the hadiths, a few hadiths of the Prophet ﷺ and verses of the Quran, and make khutbah, then it's permissible to pray 2 rak'ah as Jumu'ah, and that is considered Jumu'ah. Jumu'ah is valid by 2 or more people. 2 or more people is considered Jumu'ah. But if you do not have the khutbah, then it becomes dhuhr and not Jumu'ah, and then you need to pray 4 rak'at dhuhr. Now, as far as the Eid is concerned, it's the same concept, because the Jumu'ah is farida, the Eid is on sunnah. So as far as the Eid is concerned, the khutbah is not part of the salah in the Eid. And that's why the khutbah is after the salah. In the Jumu'ah, the khutbah is before the salah. But in the Eid, the khutbah is after the salah. If somebody, for example, if the Eid is Tuesday or Wednesday or during the week, and a person want to pray Salat al-Eid and he wants to go to work, he can, and his Salah is valid. He does not have to stay for the khutbah. But if he stayed for the khutbah, then of course it's more reward. Okay? So as far as being at home, you can do Salat al-Eid at home. And if you need more details about how Salat al-Eid, you know, the first rak'ah 7 takbirat and second rak'ah 5 takbirat, you gather your family and you pray Salat al-Eid, and inshallah you'll get the same rewards the same way you used to pray the Eid when we did not have coronavirus. And this is in itself is a mercy from Allah Azza wa Jal. Then I would suggest have a little breakfast and take your family for a ride. And that dress up nicely, take your family for a ride. You don't have to go to public places. And inshallah, you feel, you know, the Eid, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will reward you for your actions given the current conditions and the current circumstances.
Thank you very much. I think you created some issues with people who have learned all along that you need at least 20 people to have a Juma to be valid. So that you just said 2, is it based on different school of thoughts, the Ambali, the Shafi, and the rest of it?
Yes, and we can elaborate on that, inshallah. We're going to give you examples of the Sahaba Ridwanullahi alayhim. The Jumu'ah is valid by 2 or more people. 2 or more people with the agreement of many scholars. And it happened in the time of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and it happened in the time of the Sahaba Ridwanullahi alayhim.
Okay, thank you.
Because the Jama'ah, forgive me if I interrupted.
Okay.
The Jama'ah is 2 or more people is Jama'ah. It's the same thing. Jumu'ah, the verb Jumu'ah derived from Jama'ah. And the day of Jumu'ah means the day of gathering. And the day of gathering is when you have, the Prophet ﷺ said another hadith sahih, if you have 2 or more people and the Jumu'ah is not performed in any specific town, then Allah will put dots in their hearts. That means the Jumu'ah, as long as you have the exact number for the Jama'ah, then the Jumu'ah needs to be established as well.
Okay, thank you very much. The last question that I have that I have not attempted to among the list that I have here is somebody wants you to clarify for him what dua did the Prophet actually said when he was breaking his fast.
If you want to break your fast, if you want to, the dua for breaking the fast?
Yes.
Allahumma laka sumtu, wa ala rizqika aftartu, wa alayka tawakkaltu, faghfir li ma qaddamtu wa ma akhartu. This is a common dua that was well known. Allahumma laka sumtu, O Allah, for you I fasted. Allahumma laka sumtu, wa ala rizqika aftartu. And with your rizq, with your food. Without your food, I won't be able to break my fast. Is with your food I'm breaking my fast. So you're acknowledging that you are doing it for Allah. And you're acknowledging that Allah is providing you with the food and not us providing the food. And وَعَلَيْكَ تَوَكَّلْتُ, and I count on you, Allah, to accept my deeds. I count on you, Allah, to elevate me in the hereafter. فَاغْفِرْ لِي مَا قَدَّ. It's all about ghufran. It's all about forgiving my sins, O Allah. Because if you forgive my sin, for sure, inshallah, we'll be in the Jannah. But if the sins are not forgiven, then we have a problem. So this dua is comprehensive. Allahumma laka sumtu, wa ala rizqika aftartu, wa alayka tawakkaltu, faghfir li ma qaddamtu wa ma akhartu ya arhamar rahimin ya rabbal alamin.
Thank you very much.
Bachir, can I just add to this, please? There's another dua, I just want to check on that as well. that is very common that I personally say this one. ذهب الظمأ وابتلت العروق وتبت العجر إن شاء الله. Is this also a valid dua as well?
That is valid dua. Let me explain the meaning of it, but that's after you eat, not before, because ذهب الظمأ means the hunger is gone. You have not broken your fast yet.
All right.
Okay? So the Prophet ﷺ, when he used to break his fast, he used to say, ذهب الظمأ وابتلت العروق وتبت الأجر إن شاء الله. So what did he used to say? ذهب الظمأ means the hunger is gone, because he had some food. So ذهب الظمأ, الظمأ, the hunger and thirst are gone. وابتلت العروق, the veins now are, the blood in the veins are circulating and life is coming back to me. You know how it is, a low point when you are fasting and then all of a sudden you feel this energy. Look at the Prophet ﷺ's words, subhanallah. وَتَبَتَ الْأَجْرِ, he said, al-ajr has been accepted, insha'Allah, because he cannot say for sure he's accepted, because he's not asking Allah, you know, to go back to that statement that we made. If he said, oh, Allah accept, then he will not say, insha'Allah. But here he said, al-ajr tabat, means the deed is accepted, and then he said, insha'Allah. But that's after you eat. When you break your fast, that's when you say that dua, because that's the meaning of it.
Okay.
I hope that helped.
Yes.
I think that's very, very, very clarifying. So that those who know this one and the other one, they can say it, but then they can now time it to reflect what they are saying. So that they say one before they eat the date, and then once they finish eating dates and drinking water and the rest of it, they say the other one. Almighty Allah increase us in knowledge and increase us in the understanding of the deen. Indeed, this deen is not one that you can go about with logic. You just have to keep learning and learning and learning. So may Almighty Allah reward you most abundantly for your time. We have taken 1.5 hours of your time today, 90 minutes, and this is the agreement we have with you. So we will invite our Imam of the Masjid, Masjid Mumini, Dr. Abdurrahman Adeshokon, to make a dua for you, because normally we will have given you a token, a gift or anything, but I'm sure you will rather prefer a dua than even a token now.
Oh yeah, I miss Brother Abdurrahman. Please, Brother Abdurrahman, yeah, it's been a long time.
Bismillah. Yeah, Imam.
Okay, Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin. Thank you, Brother Bashir, for coming to our community. We pray that Allah will reward you abundantly for all your time. And as we are praying for you, we are praying for ourselves too. And we are praying for your family too. May Allah be with you and be with your family. And we are saying the dua of the Prophet, a common dua of Prophet that will combine all the goods of this world and good of the akhirah. We are saying, Allahumma inna nas'aluka min al-khayri kullihi, ajilihi wa ajilihi, ma alimna minhu wa ma lam na'lam, wa na'udhu bika min al-sharri kullihi, ajilihi wa ajilihi, ma alimna minhu wa ma lam na'lam. اللهم انا نسالك له ولنا من الخير ما سالك من عبدك ونبيك محمد وعبادك الصالحون ونعوذ بك من الشر ما استعاذك من عبدك ونبيك محمد وعبادك الصالحون. ربنا اتنا من لدنك رحمه وهيئ لنا من امرنا رشدا. ربنا اتنا من لدنك رحمه وهيئ لنا من امرنا رشدا. ربنا اتنا من لدنك رحمه وهيئ لنا من امرنا رشدا. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى اله وصحبه وسلم. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. جزاكم الله خير.
Jazakallah khair, my brother. May Allah bless you all, and thank you very much. May Allah reward you for the opportunity, and may Allah keep you all, inshallah, safe and healthy. And may Allah accept from you and from us and for all the Muslims, inshallah. Jazakumullah khair. Wassalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you, everybody, for being with us for this section of our tafsir. As you know, we still have some programs that are lined up, and to that extent, I'm going to throw it back to our control center, like they say in TV speak, back to the headquarters, Brother Shakir Olakukon.